to the cities in Charlotte. We're all staying safe and well. Another Pepsi 11. No sooner do we get a couple of players back, we'll lose another couple of players, or three even, after the game, of course, on against Forest on I forgot what day we were in, Wednesday night, but soon enough we'll be playing Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park on the 7th of December 2024. So this is a Pepsi 11 for that, although you'd think it gets easy to pick, wouldn't you, with less players to choose from, but it doesn't really work out like that. 3 p.m. kickoff, of course, match day 15. Please check out my also my Palace 130, my City 130 special at Palace. That's available now, guys. Some history between us. Some interesting stuff, if I say so myself, but it's great to have your support if you can have a watch of that as well, guys. And let me know your thoughts on this Pepsi 11 and your predictions, etc. Be nice to hear them. We've got Andy Morrison's for this one as well. This isn't on anywhere, of course, in the UK. 3 o'clock kickoff, so we're all having to desperately search around for dodgy streams because not many fans can go down to Palace. But I was almost got a ticket. I got let down for this one, but never mind. I've got another one over Christmas, away game over Christmas to come anyway, so that's not too bad. Yes, so. Our record at Palace, let's have a look at, there's a sort of, not a misnomer, but a lot of, it's a difficult play for us to go. It probably is, actually. We played 32, won 16, which isn't bad. Drawn 8, but we've lost 8. And we scored 43 goals to their 30. But then when we sort of look at form, etc. in a minute, you'll see that we're not that bad. We're not that bad at Palace, and not as bad as I thought when I look back. Anyway, how are Oliver Glasner's boys doing? Well, they sit one spot above the relegation zone, 12 points from 13 games. They're not fantastic, but they had a much-needed victory on Tuesday night. An early season 6 points, if you can call them 6 pointers at this stage of the season, but a 1-0 win at Ipswich. Ipswich were a bit disappointed with that, and it was Palace's first away win and only their second win of the season. I think basically they owe it to the recent return of Eberechi Easy, of course, who's kept Palace ticking along. Mr. Gooey Gay, their captain's caused a bit of controversy with his not wearing the old rainbow stuff, but that's by the by. They still rely on that guy. And they won this game against Palace reasonably comfortably to ease the pressure slightly on the manager, although of course they've obviously got City coming up. It'll ease even better if they get something against us. Ipswich did struggle with Palace's physicality, which is a big problem. This may be a big warning to us, of course, who will go into this with an additional injury crisis. What crisis? Well, we've definitely got an injury crisis. You can say whether what we're going through is a crisis generally, but there's definitely an injury crisis. So that sort of brings us to physicality of Palace and what we can do about it. I mean, the belief, as I said, is that City have struggled at Palace over the years, but recent facts dispute that a little bit. In our last 6 visits in the league to Palace, we've won 5 and drawn 1, so we've done okay. But they have been generally hard-fought points. And Palace, as I mentioned earlier on, with the return of Easy, seems to have sort of sprung them into life a little bit. And their physicality, as I said, they've got some big lads. Forest had some big lads the other night, didn't they? But they had some big lads and big manoeuvrable lads as well. Not talking big galoots at the back who just stand around. They've got lads who can rattle City, especially as our injury list, as I said, just seems to increase and increase. You know, we get two. It's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We get 1 player back, two drop out. So let's have a quick look at what we expect from the City team for this one. The team squad versus Forest was Ortega, Akanji, Diaz, Aki, Gvardiol, Bernardo, Gundok, De Bruyne, Doku, Haaland and Grealish on the bench. Ederson, Carson, Walker, Savi, Nunez, Wright, O'Reilly, Lewis and McAtee. So half of that bench was sort of inexperienced as far as first team is concerned. Now out, of course, we've got Akanji. Now out, of course, we've got Aki, which leaves us down to the bare bones, doesn't it? But put Diaz down here by some. Let me just alter that before I forget from my script. in case any of you out there want it. So Akanji and Aki now out. How long, we'll find out over the next week or two. And we're down to the bare bones because you've got Mr. Phil Foden as well, who will not return very quickly. He's got a fever, he's got bronchitis, the poor lad. So I can't see him turning up for this Palace game. It's far too soon. So looking through the other players, Ortega's got to be favourite to keep his spot. He's done nothing wrong not to keep his spot. We kept a clean sheet for a start. Walker and Lewis both may get in this by default, though Lewis may struggle against a big Palace outfit. Has Pep got any real alternatives? I wouldn't stick him in midfield. But of course, playing more defensively perhaps. But even then, it's going to be a hard ask of Lewis. These players must start again. Diaz, Gvardiol, Bernardo, Doku and Haaland and Grealish all must start again. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Hopefully KDB, when he sat down before he went off, he's just knackered and will start. I'm not seeing anything untoward. He collected his man of the match. He looks okay, but worst thing could have happened is that he's probably too much for him starting that game. But hopefully KDB is ready and available to start this match. Gundogan is a funny one, isn't he? He did improve against Forest, but again, he's probably going to struggle against this Palace physicality of this Palace 11. We do have another option, of course. He was on the bench, just started on the bench against Forest, and that's Núñez, and he may cope better with the physical game. So I'd be inclined to perhaps swap them too. But Pep likes to stick with what worked, and it sort of worked mostly against Forest. So he might just stick Gundo in, even though I think Gundo needs a rest anyway. He might just stick Gundo in again. Savvy is the only one I think that we've not mentioned that could start. Obviously, he was on the bench. He may get consideration, but of course, Doku's probably earned his berth in this, and if Pep's not going to play two wingers, Savvy will be the one who steps down. And interestingly enough, there's no Simpson Pusey on the bench against Forest, who Pep's risked in a couple of games, and it's not done him any good. But of course, he's got that inkling of putting with the defence and its bare bones now, perhaps putting him into the central defence against Palace. I wouldn't advise that one. But again, Pep's running out of options for what he can do, and he's shown faith in the lad before, so probably we never know. And again, the other thing that quantifies this Pep's 11 is he can't really afford to have one eye on Juve. It's not as though he can say, right, I'm going to rest 2 or 3 players. We don't even have that option. So it is literally one game at a time with this depleted squad. So I don't think Juve next week will come into the reckoning for this Palace game. Although most seasons it would have done. Every other season, this certainly the state we're in with the Champions League, it would have been a big consideration. But I don't think Pep's got that luxury. He can't consider stuff like that. So with those ifs, whys and therefores, my starting 11, I don't think we've got any more option than to see both Lewis and Walker in this. I think Walker will probably play an emergency centre-half, if anything, if Simpson Pusey doesn't get the nod, which I doubt. So this is my 11. Ortega again, I've stuck Ortega in there. Lewis, Walker, Diaz and Gvardiol. I've done similarly to what I did against Forest, Gundogan and Grealish, Bernardo. And up top, again, exactly the same. I say if it's not broke, don't try and fix it. Although, as I said, big question mark over whether KDB has come out of this all happy. We'll know Friday lunchtime when Pep does his press conference. But of course, as I'm recording this, it's still 18 hours or so away. So Ortega, Lewis, Walker, Diaz, Gvardiol, Gundo, Grealish, Bernardo, and KDB, Doku, and Haaland. Yeah, so that leaves on the bench literally just three senior players: Ederson, Núñez, and Savvy. If you can call Savvy senior player, he wouldn't be any other season, would he? He'd just be bedding himself in, but he's not got that time this season. And literally, he's talking the rights, the O'Reillys, Lewis, McAtee, Simpson Pusey, if he's available. As I say, I don't think Pep will plunge him into Selhurst Park's cauldron, if you like. Let me know your thoughts anyway, guys. That's my 11. And it has affected my predictions, and I'm not going to be negative in my predictions, but let's start off with Andy Morrison. Andy Morrison said, Never an easy venue for us over the years. Well, it's not been too bad, Andy, but yeah, I know what you mean. But Palace have lost some momentum they built towards the end of last season. Well, they certainly, yeah, I mean, they're on fire, weren't they? And while they had the ability to be a thorn in the side of leading sides over the past few years, they have lost a number of good players, and we should win by a couple of goals at least. So Andy's predicting 3-1 to City. You get an average price of 12 to 1 on that. I think with the squad defensively very, very weak, this is going to be a tough one. I am inclined, and this is the most popular scoreline with the bookies, I'm inclined to go for a draw, which is no good for us whatsoever. If we still, all right, it's saying we've wrote the league off now, but we picked up 2 points on Liverpool the other night. So, you know, I'm not going to go for a draw, although I do think it could be a draw. Hopefully at worst, but I'm going to go for 2-1 City. I'm going to go 2-1 City for this one, which you can get 7 to 1 on. So we'll try for that. Some of the other odds, as at the 5th of December 2024, well, the league title odds now, some slight changes. To win the league, Liverpool have moved out slightly, yes, so they're not as favours as they were. That's what dropping a couple of points does for you. They've gone from 4 to 7 generally out to 4 to 5 on. So there you go. And Arsenal have moved in, of course, as their form returns and they're winning games again now. Well, they'll beat United. Well, I'll take it. Yeah, so they've gone from 11 to 4 generally into 5 to 2. And yeah, even City ourselves have shortened again. We were as high as 8 to 1. Before this last game, and generally it's 6 to 1. You can find 7 to 1 in a place, but generally it's 6 to 1 for City. The most popular scorelines, as I said, a 1-1 draw is very popular, plus a 1-0 City win. You can both get 15 to 2 on those, and a 2-0 City win you can get 8 to 1. The match odds themselves, Palace are 9 to 2. To win this, so I'm sure Palace fans will be backing their boys. A draw is 16 to 5, and you can Dutch it. Palace make some money, and of course a City win. Yeah, not long odds on, which is good. So if you don't mind betting a little bit odds on, and you've got faith in City, 4 to 7 on isn't bad. You can get slightly better at one or two other bookmakers as well, but that's the average price. So there you go, there's the odds. So of course, next up, as I said, I'm not down at Palace on Saturday, so should get the player ratings out Saturday evening, and of course the story of the game out on Sunday. Again, very, very quickly following on, we'll have a Pepsi 11 for the visit to Juventus, which will be interesting after what happens on Saturday, because I can't see too many of the guys who are still on the injury list at the moment appearing for that Juve game. So fingers crossed we don't pick up any more problems over at Selhurst Park. So the Pepsi 11 for the visit to Juve will be out soon. And yeah, check out my City 130 European special. Yes, trip to Juventus back in the day for my brother-in-law, where he got lost in the Alps in France and stuff like this, trying to get there on the cheap. So anyway, a little bit about that in my European special of Juventus versus City. So check that out, guys. Keep your eyes out for that. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this feature. If you have, please, if you're not already subscribed, please do so. It'd be great to have you on board. And if you are a subscriber, as always, keep spreading the word, guys. Press that bell notification. All these vlogs are coming out. And of course, it's all City past, present, as long as I can keep going. And if you do check through the channel, there's also items on film and TV as well, which is another passion of mine. Plenty of vlogs on that as well. So if that's of any interest, or you know someone who might be, who's not bothered about the football, I know it's hard to think that, isn't it? But it does happen. Yeah, just please point them in my direction. I'd be very grateful. And as a channel, I'm always trying to improve, and I'm always after support if I can get it. So I only ask if you can stay tuned to find ways you might be able to support me in the future. Hope you enjoyed the feature, and yeah, if you can support me through the subscription, if you can subscribe, guys, that'd be wonderful if you've not already done so. We do actually have memberships at the moment, just 99p a month, so you get access to all my City stuff, including all the history vlogs, dozens and dozens not been published yet that you get immediate access to, and every time I do edit and do a vlog, you get immediate access to it as well. So you can have a copy of scripts as well if you want any hard copy of the sort of things I do on matches and teams and managers and players, etc, etc. So if you can join the membership, that'd be wonderful. We do have sponsors at the moment. P6505 are our current sponsor. They have a little eBay shop, so if you check in the comments section, there's a link there to the shop. They sell movie posters from the 90s and 2000s. They sell DVDs, some classic Hollywood movies, some classic foreign language ones. And if you do see anything you fancy on there, if you do place an order, just mention me, just say Bernard sent you, and you automatically get 10% reduction in the cost of your order. So fill your boots, guys, and my thanks to P6505. And yeah, if you want to support the channel just by watching the ads, that helps. Watch the ads, let them play through while you just have to check your phone or something, let it play out. And of course, if you follow any of the links, that always works as well. If you follow a link to one of the ads and you fancy something, I've done it myself. I've followed a link and actually purchase something from another organisation, but it can happen. It can happen. Not all ads are stuff you're not interested in. And of course, if you can give us a like, guys, that's be absolutely fantastic. All likes are much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until the next time, of course, I only ever ask one thing, don't I? Please, I ask you all to stay safe, especially you Blues. Until the next time, come on, City. Bye for now.